What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of Press YYZ. This is your one-stop shop where we bring you all the best video game news and discussion with a uniquely Canadian twist. You can find us on Twitter at Press YYZ, where we appreciate any feedback you may have. We also record this show in front of a live digital audience every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/PressYYZ. This week, we're going to talk about how Geoff Keighley is saving the internet, and we're going to wrap things up with something a little new for our topic of the show, involving the worst video game NPCs of all time. I'm your host for this episode, Mr. Mitch George, joined today by AJ Fraser.
Cyberpunk, more like cyber junk, am I right, guys?
Baby boy Alex Ballant.
Go Gadget Cyber Penis.
Mr. Alexander.
Hey man, I gotta just follow the trends.
I work with children. Alex Kazina.
Alexander, goddammit. So I've really noticed over the past few days that when I'm just sort of standing still and not really thinking about it, my head leans a little bit too much to this side. So I'm trying hard to improve my posture. And if it seems like my head is leaning too far to this side, please let me know.
Last but not least, Mr. Head of HR, Nathan McInerney.
So Cyberpunk's bringing back the argument, length or girth.
Are we just going to get right into it then?
Hell yeah.
But it's cyberpunk, so why not both?
Yes, they're talking about cyberpunk junk. It's a thing.
I for one hope there's a labia slider.
God damn it. We have an audience. This is off to a rolling halt.
Okay, you guys know the EA Game Face where you can put your face into like EA Sports games?
Oh, I would use that in Tiger
What if they
Woods all
did
the
that
time.
for Cyberpunk?
That's a good idea.
What if they did that for Cyberpunk? Yeah, think about
Yeah,
it.
scan your junk.
I mean, Mark Cerny wants pictures of our ears. Why wouldn't EA want pictures of our junk?
Exactly.
I mean, CD Projekt Red are Polish, and we don't know what they do over there. That's the
Cozy,
band.
Cozy, I need your help. These guys are insane.
My grandparents are from Slovenia, which is a Slavic country and is located close to Poland, but I don't have a lot of insight on what they do in Poland.
Cozy, I just want to know what you've been up to this week so we can stop talking about genitalia.
I mean, I've been editing together the third ever Kazina for Kinda Funny Direct, which I want to make a point of plugging right here and right now. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. EST, if you go to twitch.tv/CozyBearLive, you can catch the third ever Kazina for Kinda Funny Direct, in which I'm going to be discussing some of the longer term, more ambitious projects I would want to do with Kinda Funny in the future, and talk about the future overall of my up-and-comer campaign. Please, I would be forever indebted to you if you could be sure to tune in. I'm going to be posting the direct to all these social platforms I'm on shortly after it debuts, so if you miss it live, no problem, but please check it out. Okay, good.
And we will pimp the crap out of it through our show's Twitter as well, so don't worry, we'll make sure as many people get eyes on it as we can. You got it.
Just the amount of effort you put into them, I mean, it's worth it.
100%.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm about to collapse here from all the praise.
No, your posture. Think about your posture.
We also need you to finish this show. That would be nice.
I mean, as long as he can hit the 4 button before he goes down, it'll be fine.
Anything games related you've been up to this week, Cozy, or it's been all heads down editing the direct?
I mean, I've been busy finishing up Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know. There's not a lot of super exciting video game stuff I've been up to this week. Sorry.
I mean, there was one thing that was kind of fun, and AJ, you and I can sort of chime in on this one too.
Oh, yeah.
We got to some multiplayer Stadia fun over the week.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah.
Stadia and fun in the same sentence?
I had a good time.
Go figure.
I apologize that I initially said that it wasn't very exciting. It was exciting. It's just,
It was exciting once we got to the point where you realized you could beat us.
Once it became competitive.
The scoring system and the multipliers and all that crap.
I mean, I would say that that's where it got really exciting. But, the resolution of Stadia wasn't as ideal as I wished it was.
It was all running in 4K as they promised, right?
Yeah. Well, so I think they toned it down for because of the quarantine and everybody's working at home, et cetera, et cetera. But I think there may have been a problem with your settings if the resolution wasn't quite what you were hoping it would be. Because for me, it was beautiful 1080p.
So you can go into the Stadia settings and override the throttle they've put into it, which is what I did, and it looked fine. I didn't have any issues. I mean, it looked like a B, like it wasn't a AAA game. It was like a single A, B level.
What game did you guys play?
So we were playing Zombie Army 4, which originally was a mod for Sniper Elite.
Yes,
I want to
Sniper
say.
Elite. Was
we
it a
looked
mod or was it just a spin-off?
Or sorry, no, it wasn't a mod. It was official DLC, and it was fun. I mean, I had a good time with it. I don't think I'll go back to it, but it was fun for that one night.
How is it in like comparison to Left 4 Dead? Because I unfortunately didn't get a chance to play with you guys because I went and watched a movie instead.
It was very reminiscent of Left 4 Dead in some ways. I mean, you start off in one place, you move on to the next safe house, and you fight your way through a bunch of zombies, and you complete an objective on the way.
Nice.
It wasn't nearly as polished as Left 4 Dead. Like they left a lot on the table, but it was still fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't like mouse and keyboard.
I want like that experience of playing Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 again. And Epic Game Store made World War Z, that game that was basically a third-person Left 4 Dead free. And I want to have those feelings again because I think Left 4 Dead is some of the best asynchronous multiplayer I've ever played.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I will say, while the Left 4 Dead series isn't necessarily utterly renowned for its characters, I felt like from what I played of Left 4 Dead back in the day, the characters there were a lot more, like they were a lot more at the forefront of the experience in a way that I didn't feel with this game.
Yeah.
And that was definitely something that wasn't keeping me as engaged in it as I could have been.
Valve knows how to inject a lot of personality into their games.
When they decide to make them.
Yeah,
AJ,
But I mean,
anything else you've been... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to just say, like, speaking of Valve, one of the things I've been doing this week is I found a YouTube series that it has completely engrossed me. It's called Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. So basically the main premise of it is somebody is playing through Half-Life 1 in VR, but there's 4 AI that will respond back to him. They hear the voice chat, like they hear his microphone, and then they will respond back to him. And this guy has taken voices. He's taken voices of his friends, or at least for 2 of the characters, and he's like dubbed them over. But it's quite amazing. It's really, really funny, and there's like a whole storyline that goes through it of just this guy. I mean, it's more than meets the eye. It's more than I'm just describing even right now. But it's so good. They have the whole game done as well,
right?
And it was like an event, and I'm so excited for when they do Half-Life 2. It's one of the funniest things. If you guys ever watched Friedman's Mind on Machinima, where it was another that was like way back in the day of like it was on Machinima. It was a Let's Play of Half-Life 1 where somebody like did like a voiceover of like what is Gordon Freeman thinking through this whole thing. It's very reminiscent of that. I hope somebody understands the reference that I'm making right now. By the way, it's a fantastic series on YouTube, and it's like 2 hours, I think, complete all the way through, because it's pretty highly edited, but it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time.
We'll be sure, if you do put that out on Twitter, we'll make sure that gets shared out so that people can find this if they're interested in it. Anything else you've been up to this week?
Sweet.
Yeah, I finished Red Dead Redemption 2 for the second time.
But why?
Because
wow, you're the only person in the world.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's me and Jared Petty. We're the only 2 who've like ever played that game twice. I thought like I love that game. I love that story. It's beautiful, and I have a real knack of replaying a lot of the things that I love. I do it a lot because I like to have a true understanding and appreciation for those things, more than just kind of what I would say is surface level of just going through it the one time. This is just how I perceive like media. And so when I enjoy something, I really want to go through it again, and I get that real appreciation for it. And there's like more subtle moments that I noticed in Red Dead 2. This game, it made me cry even though I knew things that were going to happen in Red Dead Redemption 2. It's so beautiful. The game itself is a little bit more of a struggle to play through because you really do kind of just go through like shooting galleries through a lot of the game, but it's the story context and some of the story elements around it that I just was encapsulated with for a second time. And I think the story's even better a second time because you actually can like pay attention to the characters a little bit better. And I've never been more invested in building a house than I have in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Speaking of building stuff, Nathan, are we ready for your weekly This Is What I Did in Animal Crossing for 45 hours this week?
Expertly done, Mitch.
All right.
Yeah.
This is where I tune out. See ya.
See you in 45 minutes, Cozy.
Oh my god, he actually left.
Wow, he doesn't really like Animal Crossing at all, does he?
He's going to walk away and the stream's going to completely shut down. We're going to be screwed.
I didn't expect that.
He's probably going pee.
So I'm at 320 hours now in Animal Crossing.
All right,
How?
I'm out. See you guys later. Bye.
Wasn't it like 240 last week? It was something like that.
So
I didn't think he'd actually leave either.
as I've continued to play, now I'm into flower breeding, and I'm trying to get the specific flower types,
Can I leave?
which require a lot of work of crossbreeding the flowers. I've got 5 stars. Just got my first gold rose. So I'm working on the end game stuff of the. Of
it has
Animal
an
Crossing.
There's
end
an
game?
end to that game?
Sorry.
We're both as awestruck as we possibly could be, knowing that has an end game. Like, I didn't think that game ever ended. For me, it's just going to end when I say I'm done, which is soon.
It doesn't have, like, it just keeps going and going and going, but I keep finding these intricate systems in the game. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot wrong with the game, and I'm sure we'll talk about what's wrong with it later when we segue into the video later. But there's so many things it does right in the small intricacies that its systems do that can really have you delve deep into it. So I don't know. You guys asked last week, what am I doing in the game that I'm spending so much time doing? And it's all the small stuff that I'm finding all this little detail in that you can continue. Plus, you know what? I'm going to be honest, with my wife playing it, it's really like a connection with her too.
Yeah, I can understand that part of it.
If
So-
my girlfriend somehow got it for whatever reason, she doesn't have a Switch, unfortunately, then yeah, I could see myself continuing to play with her.
Yeah, because we're always on each other's island. She's been coming every night to water my flowers and logging in as my 2 boys on her Switch and watering my flowers.
There's a benefit to that, I guess, because I have a group of friends that are
Yeah.
knee deep in this Animal Crossing flower business, and all I see are texts of "my gate's open, come water." I'm just like, I have like 3 or 4 flowers here and there, and meh.
So if you water them yourself or it rains, you get a 5% growth in your flowers, potentially. If you have somebody else come and do it, it's like a 15. Basically, if you can get up to 5 people to help you water your flowers and they water them, there's 80% chance you'll get new buds.
And
So your growth's much better. So you get the rare flowers and you develop more of them.
and
And I'm breeding flowers for my wife on my island, so she's coming to make sure, because she's just taking them from my island to her island.
okay, I need to talk about something that isn't Animal Crossing,
Now, I was going to say, this is a full-time job now.
pretty much.
Yeah, I really love it. But I did play something else this week.
Ooh.
Actually,
Hours before the podcast aired, I got my review code for Super Mega Baseball 3. I love Super Mega Baseball 2. So I'm not very deep. I got 2-3 inning rounds in, but it feels just as great as Super Mega Baseball 2. But it looks better, just feels a little bit tighter. I'm looking forward to playing more. It's out May 13th, and I think my review will go live that day.
and what platforms? I know
So-
I played the second one on the PS4, but is it everywhere or?
So I think it's going to be on every system. I got a PS4 review code. Although I can see this working really well on the Switch, just because it's definitely a cartoony.
Yeah, that
style.
smaller arcade style experience would be right at home on the Switch.
I don't love the show because it's so complicated, even when they gave it free. But I had such a good time with Super Mega Baseball 2. I still occasionally pop it out and play it. It hasn't left my hard drive, so I'm looking forward to diving into this one.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat with you with something I started this week. I've only put maybe an hour last night, maybe another half hour to an hour today into it. And that's the PS4 remaster of Vanquish.
Oh.
So Best Buy in Canada, I don't know if it's still on sale, probably won't be by the time this goes live, but they had the 2-pack of Bayonetta and Vanquish in a steelbook on sale for a price I found reasonable. So I picked that up and I started it. It was $35 for both. So not too bad.
not bad.
And I've never played Bayonetta, and Vanquish is probably my favorite platinum game that I've ever played. So it's a futuristic third-person shooter with, sliding and time freezing, and it's balls to the wall platinum at their very best. The mechanics are solid, and I'm having a real good time playing through this again. And I looked at the trophy list. It's not too bad. So that might actually be something that keeps me with this game, because it's nice to just pick up, play through one portion of one act and get your final score, and you can pop right out. So it's not something you need to, invest a lot of time in one session. You can sort of come at it in bursts, which is nice for me. So yeah, that's sort of what I've been playing this week.
So this game has been paired together with the remaster of the original Bayonetta. Playing them side by side, or actually, have you been playing the original Bayonetta, or have you played the original Bayonetta?
I think I played a demo. I don't think I played the original. I'm looking forward to jumping into it with this.
It's really good.
So what I was driving at is, do you feel like both the games share a lot of like obvious sort of structural DNA in terms of their design? Or do you think that they're kind of an odd coupling and were only put together because they kind of came out at around the same time in Platinum's life?
I think it's going to be the latter. I don't like, one is a third-person action game, one is a third-person shooter, so they're mechanically very different. Bayonetta is more focused on, larger arena-style combat. Vanquish is more point A to point B, move as quickly as you can, get into cover, shoot a bunch of stuff, keep going, keep moving. It's very, very kinetic in that way. And just to compare, like, some of the other Platinum games that I have gotten to play, I played The Wonderful 101. I did not get through maybe the first 2 levels. Just didn't hook me the way I expected it to.
I literally exact same story with me. I'm like, I really, really wanted to like it, but I was just like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, and the other Platinum game that I really, really enjoy is, I think it was Transformers Devastation was the name. Correct me if I'm wrong.
War for Cybertron?
No. So War for Cybertron was on the PS3 by High Moon Studios, I want to say, who went on to become a satellite studio for the Call of Duty franchise under Activision. But no, this was a cel-shaded, third-person action game in the vein of the old 80s Transformers cartoon. And thank you, Monarchy, for fact-checking me. It was Transformers Devastation.
I actually want to let you know that I looked it up, and I can confirm it was Transformers Devastation as well.
Thank you, Cozy. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But so I really enjoyed that game as well. But again, like, Vanquish is something different from what they've done in terms of the other. Most of their games are, third-person action, beat 'em up style, throw waves of enemies at you and punch and kick and all that stuff. But Vanquish was just different for me when I played it on the PS3, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying my time with it on the PS4, and I can't wait to finish it off.
I look forward to playing it when it comes to PS Plus.
That is also pretty likely. And then the only other thing I've kind of been up to this week is I've been on a bit of a, I've been on a bit of a Disney Plus kick, like I always am. Yeah, right? It's like you with Animal Crossing, right? So I got through, or I finished the most recent season of the Clone Wars that they released on Disney Plus, exclusively made for, I know, you're wearing Stormtrooper 3D glasses. Those are probably not good for your eyes. You should probably take those off.
Everything looks just fine. I'm just saying.
Great. So this last season of the Clone Wars is so good. If you're not going to watch the whole thing, watch the last 4 episodes. They all, like, it is that 4-episode arc at the end of the season makes everything done in the prequels mean more and is better because this came out.
That's a tall order. That's some real big praise if that's what you're saying about it.
It makes Revenge of the Sith a better movie. It makes Rebels a better series. It adds so much context to things we've already seen.
Does
few
it
characters
address midichlorians?
Not in the slightest.
Okay, well.
Can we confirm that Revenge of the Sith is the best of the prequels?
It's the best of the George Lucas prequels.
I would argue that the Clone Wars as a series is better than anything else that was put out for the prequels.
Of the
4 movies.
Have you guys seen for Clone Wars I think it came out in like 2003. It was like these 2 movies.
The Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars.
Have any of you guys seen those? Though they're not canon anymore, they are amazing. They are really good.
Yeah.
They're done in the same animation style as Samurai Jack, and
cool.
They are really cool. And for a long time, until they did the most recent, like this Clone Wars, I was like, you know what? This makes the prequels just slightly better because they actually kind of give Anakin a character. And though it's not canon anymore, if you can find a way to watch them, they're very, very good.
So this Clone Wars series has had a bit of an interesting history where I think it started on Cartoon Network. They canceled it. Netflix picked it up for a season. And then when Disney decided they were going to do Disney Plus, they said, okay, we're going to do one more season of the Clone Wars, which I thought, like, there's no reason for them to be going back to this property, but It friggin'
They had a
works.
story to tell.
So the executive producer behind the series, Dave Filoni, is also behind. He's one of the major producers, I guess you could say, involved with The Mandalorian.
He also wrote a bunch of the episodes as well.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a bunch of it. He produced a bunch of it. Worked really closely with
them, I think. Yeah.
I think so, and he's directing at least one more in the.
He directed one of the worst episodes.
But he also wrote some of the best. So
that's true. I'm not trying to discredit the guy. The guy's really
no. I
talented.
know.
I like his hat.
It just seems like he seems to have a knack for making Star Wars better, which I appreciate.
I don't want to get into like a big argument right here and now, but Clone Wars is one of those shows that I've given honest attempts many times and I just can't quite get into. I think that everything that you're saying, Mitch, about the show is true. I can't imagine how the show doesn't tremendously improve upon the prequels. And, what I've just been reading online about how Ahsoka is like this sister to Anakin, that sounds great. For me, I think one of the kind of barriers that has prevented me from liking the show more is that I just find that it's a little bit too fast-paced.
Right.
Like, you can tell that the way that the episodes are edited and cut together, it's meant to ensure that younger viewers are engaged, which is perfectly fine, especially if it's a kid's show. But, I think that it's critical for me when I'm watching a Star Wars property for there to be those kind of moments of slowness or silence where the gravity of the situation really kind of sinks into the protagonists, and I didn't really find it with that show. But again, that's not like that's not me saying like the show is objectively bad. It's just it's not really to my liking.
So the only thing I'm going to say, I'm not going to spoil anything about the most recent season that came out because it is relatively new. That the last 4 episodes basically take everything that you didn't like, Cozy, and say forget it. Like they are 4, they're 4 serialized TV episodes. They all play into each other. It is part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 in the opening crawl. So it is one succinct storyline through those 4. It runs in parallel with Revenge of the Sith and makes Revenge of the Sith a better movie. So if you're going to check out anything, at least check out those last 4 episodes.
Okay.
Cool. Anyone else got anything they want to bring up, or can we move into the news?
Let's move into the news. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to be nice.
Real quick. Speaking of, we were talking about Stadia earlier, and I know I bring it up all the time, but last week
I tried to get back to you. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. No, we after we played PUBG as that kind of test Stadia thing last week, we spoke about it on last week's podcast. I sort of fell right back into it, and just it's the game I play when I get home from work, and I just sit down at my computer, and then I just boot it up on Stadia because my laptop can't exactly run PUBG very well. Yeah, it's fun. I'm having a fun time with it. That's all I wanted to say about that. Yeah, it's PUBG. It's still PUBG.
Yo, if you want to invite us, I'll play with you, even though I'm not a big fan of the game.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll play just to hang out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to enjoy it, but I'll hang out.
Do that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll message the chat and see if you guys want to join in the next time I play.
Yeah, might as well use my Google Stadia Pro while I've still got it, because I'm not going to renew it.
But you'll still be able to play PUBG after it lapses, right?
Oh, is that how it works? I wasn't sure. I thought it was.
I think you own the games after Pro lapses, right?
No, no. I believe that works like.
Oh, does it work like
Plus or Gold? Yeah.
I'm now less enthusiastic about Google Stadia.
Yeah. Well, you didn't.
As is most of the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. And if we've got nothing else, give people a second of pause. Everyone good? Then let's get into the news.
Hot news.
Ready, set, go. News drop.
So I do want to say off the bat, shout out to Monarchy, avid listener of the show. He's in the chat right now. He helped me get some of this stuff together so I could not, be distracted at work today putting this together. So I appreciate it. And we'll get right into the first story. And that is that Geoff Keighley is our Lord and Savior. And he has saved this summer. Most of this info being pulled from gamesindustry.biz from Rebecca Valentine. Geoff Keighley has announced the Summer Game Fest, a global festival running from May to August for showcases, launching games, trailer premieres, demos, and in-game events. It's not intended as a replacement for E3 and will run sort of in parallel with other shows we've talked about coming from IGN and GameSpot, but he's sort of monopolizing this 4-month period. Everything that seems to be announced at this point is part of his Summer Game Fest. So we've got Microsoft talking about how they're going to have months of reveals leading up to the launch of the Xbox Series X, and the first one being this week, which unfortunately will be released the day after we record. Maybe we'll pop in, give some impressions right here, or maybe we won't. We'll see. I just left that pause for Alex in case he needs it.
So, like, here's the thing. The last time I tried to stream myself reacting to a press conference, it didn't go super well. However, that also was before I bought and built my new PC. So, here's the thing. It's a little bit too imminent in this case, so I don't think it's going to happen. But I would definitely like to put together a Press YYZ Reacts to stream at some point in the future for future press conferences.
Yeah, I'd be totally down for that.
In fact, you know what? I'm gonna make a note of it right now.
Let's do that and talk about it outside the show, because there are other things that are being branded towards this Geoff Keighley event. EA has decided to go forward with a digital event in early June. GDC has decided to shift to a fully digital event, even after they were canceled and delayed earlier this year. As well as Nintendo has said, due to the current COVID-19 pandemic and their need to restructure to work from home, there is no planned June Nintendo Direct, as there has been for the last number of years, around the traditional E3 week.
Did Nintendo say that, or was that just rumors coming out of Nintendo?
Let me pull up the article that I pulled that from VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb. Nintendo is telling partner developers it is not going to hold one of its Nintendo Direct video events in June. The publisher is...
So we haven't heard it from Nintendo then?
No, but if
Just we're hearing
Nintendo has told their developing partners that it's not happening, and then they have basically... It has been corroborated across a number of channels.
Okay.
So odds are it's not happening.
Yeah, I think like more than anything, more than any of the other news, because everything else is just kind of speculative right now that like we don't know what anyone else is doing. This really kind of is like, we're not going to know what Nintendo's going to be doing for the rest of the year because they have nothing right now. Nothing officially announced, specifically. Like, Animal Crossing was their big thing of 2020, and now who knows when we're going to find out about that. And they need to start doing some marketing for whatever they've got for the later half of this year soon.
If they have anything for the later half of the year.
Yeah, at this point it
could
be all, like, nothing at this point.
Well, I bet their money was on Metroid Prime 3 or 4 being the big thing, and then that got pushed right back because they had to restart development on it.
Do you think that maybe not like Metroid Prime 4 as an example, but we could see a solo direct that's focused on just a single Nintendo game that would debut around E3 time, and then Nintendo would have their next proper direct where it would cover multiple games like later on in the year?
There could be something small in regards to that. I don't know. I this year we could see. I'm just more likely to see remasters of Super Mario 3D World and Twilight Princess
and Wind Waker
pack from the Wii.
So
I'd like to see that too.
And I think a lot of this, I mean, a lot of the discussion around Nintendo not holding their traditional June Direct is mostly around the fact that they're a Japanese company, and Japan traditionally their work culture is in-person, face-to-face meetings. It would be recording things live. It would be planning in person. So having to shift to an online ecosystem for all of that work was probably just more than they could manage between now and June. There are rumors that they will hold something later in the summer, so it's not like we'll go the entire summer without hearing it, but it's not going to be that traditional June E3 timeframe. But what I wanted to ask all y'all gentlemen is, this is the final nail in the coffin for E3, right? Like, we've been saying this for months, but this is it, right? It's done.
Yeah, there's no way to recover from this at this point.
Like, even if they do, will Geoff Keighley not just brand his presence at E3 under the Summer Game Fest banner moving forward? Like, if he's going to go back and help them run their stage presence and their online presence and all that stuff that he's done in the past, producing their stage show, would he not just say, yeah, you can do this, I'll help you with this, but it's under my banner? And E3 just becomes another event.
He had a very public breakup with E3 this year.
Yeah, it was a difference of opinion over how they were moving forward with the show, being a mix of press and fan, and they just didn't agree on the way it was being presented.
I don't think they were going to get back together anyways. I think E3 is just kind of screwed. They don't need the name anymore. especially if they're doing all these digital events. And I'm curious to see what GameSpot and IGN bring to the mix, because they all seem to be doing something the same but yet different.
It'll be interesting to see. Is it going to be a battle of, oh, which show is Sony at, which show is Activision at, which show is Bethesda at? Like, is there going to be some weird split down the road, or is everyone going to have things to show everywhere and they're just going to be spaced out through the entirety of the summer to allow room to breathe for some of these announcements?
Do you think that we should do a E3 digital event?
God, no.
Why not?
I have a full-time job.
If we could get
You
any
can
game
do it.
to show for us.
AJ, you've
That
got
would-
connections, right?
I know a guy who's making a video game.
We'll have one whole game, guys.
One whole game.
And you know what else we've got when it comes to one whole game? We've got a whole lot of The Last of Us 2 showing up on the internet. So
gold.
unfortunately, yes, it went gold. It's going to come out. We're all very excited. But the game also leaked almost in its entirety, at least in terms of major plot and spoilers. And I didn't personally get spoiled. Thank God, knock on wood, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen. But
So far, so good.
I'm gonna.
Don't say you're not spoiled. People send them to you.
I know, but our community is lovely. They would not do that to me. And if they do, I hate them.
I'm gonna remain.
It's prob-
I'm gonna remain silent on this matter.
I was going to say your mom's going to spoil you.
We'll see.
So there were rumors swirling that, this was a disgruntled employee, whatever. I think we actually briefly touched on it last week, but Sony's
Yeah.
further provided some details into their investigation. This person was not the person responsible for the leaks was not affiliated with Sony or Naughty Dog, as was heavily rumored. They decided not to comment any further on that. I'm sure their investigation is still ongoing. Please don't spoil stuff on the internet. That's rude. It's inconsiderate, and it takes years of what has been the heart and souls and blood and sweat of all these great artists and developers and writers, and just ruins the experience for everybody. So don't do it. Don't be a dick.
But if you are going to spoil it, do it in the form of a meme, because at least that will leave you with a happy face as you walk away dying inside.
So you know what's not
so
a
send
happy...
all your spoilers to Cozy Bear.
No, buddy. You know what's not a smiley face with, rainbows and unicorns coming out of it? The breakup between id Software and the composer of Doom Eternal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, this is a
How do
really.
you feel, Alex?
I'm going to
sad.
stop here. I'm going to step back. Alex, this one's all yours.
So Doom and Doom Eternal, when those games, Doom 2016 was a fresh new face to the Doom franchise, and part of that heart and soul came from Mick Gordan and his basically bringing a heavy metal album cover to life. Not just with the game, like the game's visuals helped did that, but the soundtrack especially was so great. The way that they implemented different weapons having different stems associated with them, so you can have different, like, as you're playing the game, it's dynamic in what weapons you're using. All of that is awesome, and there was so much personality to it, and it really helped shape the identity of these new Doom games. And unfortunately, it seems like Mick Gordan is not going to be working with it again, because from Marty Stratton, who is he's like the executive producer at id Software, if I'm not mistaken. He made a post on Reddit basically addressing the controversy, because there was, so to kind of reel it back.
Kudos to them for doing that. Kudos to them for that, right? Like, you don't see this kind of transparency, and it was really good to see. The whole situation sucks, but the fact they're being as transparent as they are about the process of putting together the final mix and the OST, very cool to see.
Yeah, and I've watched so many interviews with Marty Stratton, and he seems like such a genuine person that I really, I had no trouble. Like, this doesn't feel like it's just him trying to save face on behalf of id. It really feels like he is being genuine here.
Some really good interviews with Marty on NoClip, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, the
YouTube
post came out as being genuinely written the way it was written. It didn't sound like it was a bunch of PR fluff. It was what happened. It was the story of how this came to be.
Yeah, so basically, there was somebody on Twitter who was saying, when the collector's edition of the soundtrack came out, they realized that the levels were cut off, both like the peaks and the lows. They were like really sharply cut off, and they were kind of saying, like, Mick Gordan's a better composer than this. Why is the final mix of the soundtrack like this? And Mick Gordan responded, like, I didn't mix those tracks. You can tell which ones I did. I wouldn't have done that. And we thought it was, oh, Bethesda screwed over Mick Gordan and they did it their own way. But
Right.
it turns out that the process, he was supposed to create the soundtrack, and he asked for an extension of 4 weeks from id, and id gave it to him, and he said that they could produce 30.
They actually gave him 6 or 8 weeks. They gave him more time than he asked for.
He initially asked for 4 weeks, but they did give him, I believe it was 6.
I think it was 6, yeah.
He said that he could deliver 33 tracks, which would be about 2 hours worth of music, which is a pretty hefty soundtrack, all things considered. And so but they started getting worried because he stopped responding to them, and he delivered, I think, 12 tracks in total. But as they were doing this, they asked their audio engineer at id to start working on a id version of the soundtrack so they could just have something, because they have obligations, because they had this as a pre-order, or not a pre-order, but just like a collector's edition bonus. So they had obligations to customers to deliver this soundtrack. It wasn't even just like they could have it ready when it's ready. They had a very strict deadline that they had to meet. And
Yeah, certain countries have regulations around if you promise a product, you can only delay it so long from the initial release before people could start, going after you financially.
Yeah, they could get a full refund, no questions asked, because they didn't get what they were promised. So they made this id version, and they were talking to Mick Gordan saying, like, whichever tracks you deliver, we can replace the ones that we've made with the ones that you've done, but we need to have something. And eventually they got to the point where they just had to release it. And then people noticed, and they started sending death threats. There were like some really shitty people, because Mick Gordan didn't come out and say any of this. He was kind of very, very vague about how he responded to everything, and not encouraged, but very much kind of like didn't really stop anyone from being dicks on the internet. And so this
from the Reddit post. Yeah, I was going to say, just from the Reddit post, I got a sense that Mick was involved with trying to mix these separate tracks into the OST. Like, he was involved with that final mix, at least in terms of compiling things. Mm-hmm. But the problem was that the additional audio engineer who did get credit, people went in and they were like sifting through the metadata, like, oh, some of the tracks are just Mick, some of them are Mick, as well as contributions from the person whose name I unfortunately forget. And they're like, oh, so he's the problem. And then they started attacking him online. And
that's where
this goes back to my point from earlier. Don't be a dick.
That's when Marty came in and was like, this is not gonna. And so, like, this cannot stand. And so they announced on the Reddit post that any of the story DLC that they have in production for Doom Eternal, that Mick Gordan will not be involved in it.
Yeah. The community and stuff attacking whoever they could get their hands on, that just screams like where Reddit thought they caught the Boston bomber, and we did it, Reddit. It's very much
it's very self-congratulatory.
It's just very like pat themselves on the back, but they got the wrong guy. It's just
where it's kind of no one's fault. It just kind of
it's the internet's fault.
Yeah, it seems like, from what I can kind of tell, that Mick Gordan, in all senses of the word, is an artist. He makes really cool things, but he's also kind of, from what it seems, he's a little bit difficult to work with. And they put up with it because he was delivering an amazing soundtrack. But to a certain extent, you can only kind of push that so far. And it seems like it is broken, and they're going to be moving on without him.
So I didn't play too much of Doom Eternal. I think I maybe got like 2 levels in before I just didn't pick it up again. I intend to. Famous last words, I know, but
it's okay. You have it on Stadia. You can play it everywhere.
I can now. But yeah, no.
Wait a minute. Is Doom Eternal on Stadia now?
It is.
Oh yeah.
But
are you surprised by the fact that they had a Stadia Direct and advertised it in that Direct?
Hold on, I was thinking of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, where that game is only coming out in the fall. I got the two mixed up.
No, the fall. Yeah.
Very confusing.
We talked about that at length last week. If you want to go check out last week's episode.
No, I just found in like those first 2 episodes. I'm not sure, specifically what were id's tracks, what were mixed tracks.
So the thing is with that, all of the tracks in game, because the way that they do the soundtrack in the game versus how they do it in like for like a soundtrack that you would have on Spotify or a CD is vastly different. So all of the music that you hear in the game is Mick Gordan, and then it's like it's implemented in there. That's why it sounds so weird on the soundtrack, is because they took those stems that Mick Gordan gave them that was specifically designed for the game, and they had to then turn that into like an original soundtrack,
like a start and end.
Yeah,
song.
like they had to turn it into an actual soundtrack where they had stems beforehand, and that's where a lot of these discrepancies came from, because Mick Gordan was the one who had the originals that, like, I think I'm getting this right.
The problem came down to Mick Gordan had the originals. It did not, in terms of editing for the OST, the original soundtrack, it is very difficult to do so from whatever files they had to put in game. They did their best, and it didn't work out, and now no one's happy, and the internet's on fire.
And Mick Gordan is no longer going to be associated with Doom, which is really sad, because now they kind of have to try to find a new identity in their music. And I just feel like whatever is next for Doom, whether it be the DLC or another game, it's immediately going to get compared to Mick Gordan, which isn't fair for whoever this next composer is going to be, because I really hope that they try to just find a new sound. I hope that they don't try to do like a pale imitation.
No, it needs to be whoever comes in, it has to be their voice, their vision, and that's it. You can't copy something someone else did. Just do something original, and people will hopefully understand. And with that, I think we can wrap up.
People are known to understand things.
Not on the internet. Okay, I'm trying to wrap up the news. Can we do that? Are we good? We're good? All right, cool. So that's it for
I guess so.
God damn it. That's it for the news. So let's move on to read/watch all the things. This week it is, in fact, watch all the things. So none of these are mine, so y'all can, have at these.
So I guess I'll go first, since mine's the first one on the list. This is a really cool interview that I found on YouTube with the legendary composer, speaking of composers, Marty O'Donnell, who you might know from a little game called Halo and Destiny and Destiny 2. Well, some of Destiny 2. But he, so it's on YouTube. The channel is The Act Man. And they just sit down over Discord, and they do a really, really cool interview. This is post-mortem Marty O'Donnell, where he's done with Destiny. He's kind of doing his own thing now. He doesn't really have a project yet, but he's still kind of just like hanging around the industry. And he just kind of gets really reflective, especially about Halo, because I know the Act Man is a really big Halo fan. And there's just some really, really cool, interesting information, like what was it like to work with artists like Breaking Benjamin and Incubus. Man, I can't speak for Halo 2. There was on the first Halo game, they had to do all of the sound and music for the cutscenes in 3 days. They got 11 tracks. They got 11 tracks done in the first day. The next day was 9/11.
Oh my God.
So there's really cool and interesting tidbits like that of like just how Halo came to be, especially with its sound and music. So I would highly recommend watching it. It's called A Legendary Interview with Marty O'Donnell, composer from Halo, Bungie, and Destiny.
We'll be sure to
Definitely
tweet these out after the show goes live next week. So don't worry about trying to find it now. We'll be sure to hook you guys up with links to these things. And the second one on our list, Nathan, it says Animal Crossing. I'm assuming you put this on the run of show.
Oh, no.
I put it in there.
You guys
I assume
figured
Nathan
out
has
how
seen
to
it.
hoodwink me and sneak more Animal Crossing into the show.
It's almost over, I swear to God. Actually, no, it's not. It also shows up in our topic of the show. But
well,
we're almost
at least
there.
there we're going to be talking about things in Animal Crossing we hate.
That is true. Go ahead, AJ. And probably Nathan.
Yeah, so this is another video, and it's called Imagine Animal Crossing with all the quality of life features we actually want.
And we'll never get.
That we'll never get because Nintendo is Nintendo. But the channel is Nick Ha, H-A.
Well, like I said, we'll send out all these links.
Yeah.
So don't worry about trying to find it. We'll hook you up. We'll hook y'all up.
Yeah, if you just look up the title that I just said, then you'll probably find it. But no, it's a very convincing Nintendo Direct style Animal Crossing wish list, and it looks it's so well put together, so well edited, and it looks like Nintendo could have made it themselves, and it looks like real features that could be coming, but it's fake, and it's just the things that would make me want to play more Animal Crossing if these things were implemented.
So Mitch and Mitch, we talked about this video earlier, and Mitch, you don't think any of this stuff's going to happen.
God, no.
Right?
This stuff's too good to be true.
So I've got a secondary take on it. And number one, New Leaf, Nintendo supported for years. There was a major update 4 or 5 years after the game came out that added amiibo support and new features to the game. In New Leaf.
Great. I don't want that
They now
years
have-
from now. Why would we not have these
No.
things at launch?
Well, they're now... well, we could say that about a lot of games, though.
That is also true.
Nintendo has shown in some games, like Pokemon, they've continued to add to. Is that not correct? I haven't played Pokemon
sorry?
since launch.
Kinda. They're doing DLC for the first time with Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could see updates into Animal Crossing. They're going to be doing monthly. Like, they've got events and stuff in the game planned out through June at this point that they've shown in the last Nintendo Direct for it. So I could see some of these coming down the pipeline. Nintendo's, I'm sure, hearing the fans' criticism and feedback. It's obvious I love Animal Crossing. It has its flaws. This video was so great to see and then so disappointing that I can't do any of this stuff. It was almost mean.
And seeing this video is just, put the nail in the coffin of I think I'm more or less done with Animal Crossing.
Hold on, I'm trying to understand, watching this video, do you enjoy watching it because, you like seeing someone articulating your criticisms about the game in a really kind of concise and well-presented manner, or because it's this is so disappointing, yes, but the frustration fill me up?
It's a good release. It's a good combination of the two things you said. It's a release of that frustration in a very well put and articulate manner that is easily digestible for anybody watching.
I've seen a lot of photoshops of here's what they could do, and it shows like a durability counter on tools, or like in the shops where they've had it. I've never seen something this good getting down to here's the major problems of the game. I'm hoping Nintendo watches this and goes, we got to look at some of this stuff.
Even if they put 2 or 3 at a time in every update or whatever, one would be such a big help.
Yep,
and
I
it'll
agree.
be great when we see all of these in Animal Crossing's future horizons, but we're not going to see it in this game. And with that, we can wrap up that segment of the show and move on to It's Raining Deals. And the only thing we've got for this week are this month's additions to Xbox Game Pass, both on console and PC. So on console, Xbox Game Pass is going to be adding DayZ, Red Dead Redemption 2, Final Fantasy IX, and Fractured Minds, which I've never
You should
heard
play
of.
it again, Alex, on Game Pass.
If it was on Game Pass PC, I would do it. I played it on my PS4 again, so
Speaking of game,
but what if you could get the achievements on Xbox?
but I don't have an Xbox.
Get an Xbox.
speaking of
Don't need
Xbox Game Pass on PC, you're going to get Endless Legend, Final Fantasy IX, and as an addition to the Master Chief Collection, Halo 2.
I'm so excited. So, very quickly, I got into the public flight for Halo 2 anniversary, and holy shit, that game is beautiful on PC. It doesn't have any of the sound problems or texture issues that Halo Combat Evolved had on PC, and it's looking like it's going to be real good. And I mean, I'm just going to say this now, when it comes out on May 12th on Tuesday, I'm going to be streaming the game on twitch.tv/Press YYZ. Like, I already know I'm going to be doing that, so watch it.
We know you will, and we'll all try to be there and
So
support you
excited.
as you try to get through Legendary and nearly kill
Oh,
yourself.
Halo 2 Legendary is fucking brutal with Jackal Snipers, so prepare for that.
So Final Fantasy IX did not make our list of the top 10 Japanese RPGs because we put Final Fantasy VII on instead. But it's the best Final Fantasy. Play it.
Yeah, that list was kind of weird, but
Okay.
whatever.
You're kind of
There were some
I might
complaints
actually
about it
play it.
today.
There were
We'll be
complaints,
able
unfortunately.
we will be able to address those complaints in the future.
That
for
is
sure.
the plan.
Please
Sorry,
keep
go on
giving
about-
us feedback.
Yeah, go on about Final Fantasy IX.
It's such a good game. If it's free, you can play it. I will warn you, there's like shortcuts that make the game faster, but it makes it slower in the same way because it puts your characters into weird trance modes, which means you have to do it every single time. But the game's just fun. It's a good game, great characters. It's probably got the best cast in Final Fantasy history. So, yeah, play it.
I might actually play it because it's on PC Game Pass.
It's not a bad idea. But with
Yeah.
that, we can wrap up the deal segment of the show. And now, for something brand new, shiny, fancy, and we don't even know if it's going to work. For our topic of the show, we are going to be discussing the worst video game NPCs of all time in a game of what we're calling Bracket Blitz.
This is our best name yet.
Let me explain the rules. So we've got a top 16 bracket of the worst video game NPCs of all time. We'll go matchup by matchup. You guys can fight it out as best as you want. Monarchy thinks Bracket Blitz sounds like an underrated Wii game from the 2007 through 2009 era Wii, and he's absolutely right, and I don't care.
So is everyone going to be able to contribute on one of the brackets, or do we want to like split it up?
No, everyone is going to vote on every matchup.
Okay.
If there's a tie, I am your tiebreaker. Will I go based on your arguments, or will I go based on who I think is the worst video game NPC? Yes.
If you tune into twitch.tv/Press YYZ right now, which I'm assuming you probably are because you're watching this live, you should be able to see the bracket on screen.
That's fantastic.
And for
Thank
all
you.
of you dedicated audio listeners, we will describe it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will get into that now.
I had a brief little technical snafu, and I had to figure out how to get it back on. But
It's all
It
good.
looks like a bracket for our listeners. It's a bracket.
You asked me to fill time. That's about the only thing I'm good for on this show. So I got you. Don't worry.
I'm not going to argue with you.
So to go through the bracket briefly, I'll go by how I've ranked them in the bracket. So at number one rank, we've got Navi from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Then we've got Tom Nook from Animal Crossing. We've got, where's number 3? Probably should have planned this out better. The Duck Hunt dog from Duck Hunt. Baby Mario from Super Mario Land, Yoshi's Island. Jar Jar Binks from the Lego Star Wars games. Just because I hate Jar Jar. At 6, we've got Ashley Graham from Resident Evil 4. 7, you've got Tingle from The Legend of Zelda. At 8, you've got Hop, your rival from Pokemon Sun and Moon. At
Isn't he
9,
from
we've
Sword
got
and... Wait, but isn't he
Sun
from
and
Sword
Moon.
He's
Sun
from
and Moon.
Okay, when I was Googling it, I couldn't find Sun and Moon. I was only finding Sword and Shield.
Wait, do I have these backwards?
How HAU
HAU is
Sun
what I
and
was thinking.
Moon.
Yes, you're right. So this
I don't
is
even
Hop
play
from Sword and
Pokemon.
Shield. Yeah. They're very...
See, here's the thing. Personally, I would just keep Hop because I think Hop is more annoying. But
Okay, then we'll stick
It's
with
up to
Hop.
you.
I just
That's
missed
the only
where
one I
present-
can make an argument for.
Sure. So we'll go Hop from Sword and Shield up against Zeke from Infamous. Number 10, we've got Mr. Rossetti from the Animal Crossing franchise. We've got Slippy Frog in there from Star Fox. Irish from Red Dead Redemption.
Such a weird choice.
No, it's
Of
not.
all the characters in that game.
No, it's... Remember, I haven't played this game. This came from the internet. Amy from the Sonic franchise. Roman Bellic from GTA 4. The 343 Guilty Spark from Halo. And then the Arrow to the Knee guy from Skyrim.
So
First
you
off,
did
how do
get
we
these-
feel about the things I pulled from the internet?
Okay,
quick
like that was
question.
my biggest question was, were these all you or were these the internet?
God, no.
Because these are really strange choices. Some of them.
I haven't
Some
played
of them
half
make
these
sense.
games.
So how are you going to do a tiebreaker?
If I haven't played it, it'll be based on your arguments. If I've played one and not the other, it's going to be the one I've played.
So,
Right.
quick question: was there a logic to which ones you pitted against which ones?
I went with the ones I knew being higher rated than the ones I didn't.
Okay.
I think it's pretty... I think it'll be pretty fun, the way that I've seeded these. For future episodes of this, if we want to collaborate on the seedings, I would be more than happy to do that. But no
feel
one
like
looked at my
somebody-
list before today, so this is what you get.
I feel like it's better if one person does the seedings, because if we do collaboration, then that kind of spoils the bracket up to a point.
Yeah.
That's also true. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, there will be a winner at the end. Each of your hosts has put in a prediction for how they think this is going to go and will be awarded points based on whether or not they predicted the right winner for
I
each
literally
individual
don't
matchup
remember what my prediction was.
in each individual round. It's okay. It's all on the website. It'll be very easy. So we'll start with the first matchup. I'll give you guys some time to vamp, and then I will need a decision. So in our first matchup of round 1, we have Navi from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time up against the arrow to the knee guy from Skyrim.
Is this even a competition?
Hey, listen. The arrow from the knee guy is not even an one NPC. He's all over the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awful.
I mean, the thing about the arrow to the knee guy, though, is I feel like he birthed a meme that we all got to enjoy for a couple of years. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
People started to hate that meme, like, immediately.
But
but
now,
I mean
now it's come all full circle and it's funny again. It's
Is
funny
it?
to bring. I think it's hilarious to bring up just a random 2011 meme that no one has thought about in years. But maybe that's just my.
I mean, it's kind of like bringing up Borat in 2020. Like,
Yeah,
it's so dated and awful
ironic
that it
now.
works.
Yeah, it's ironic.
Your suit
It's
is
the
black, not.
It's the irony
My
of
wife.
it now that I love. So I would say it's got to be Navi. Like,
It's Navi.
Navi's helpful.
It's
Navi's
Navi,
helpful.
no questions.
No,
Yeah.
fuck off.
I don't think Navi.
Navi's fucking helpful, man. Navi, all Navi says is, "Hey, listen." Hey, listen. Look.
That's not.
That's
listen.
it. That's it. That's helpful. It's
That's
hey,
not
listen,
helpful.
look, and you go there. Fucking arrow in the knee guy. What does he do? He goes, fucking. I got an arrow in the fucking knee. Fuck. You go to every fucking town. Some asshole got a fucking arrow in the knee. Fuck that. No,
Okay.
that's the most obnoxious fucking NPC shit ever.
So,
Calm
my
down, please.
So my argument here, and the arrow to the knee guy is not one character. It's a soundbite. It's a soundbite. It is not a character. Navi
it annoying?
is a
Copy and
character.
pasted.
It's annoying, but it's not a character. This is the worst video game NPCs, non-playable characters. It's not a character.
Town Guard.
Okay.
Skyrim Town Guard is the NPC character.
Let's put this to rest. Who thinks the arrow to the knee guy is more annoying? By show of hands. By show of hands, we have just AJ. I'm assuming the other three believe Navi is more annoying.
You guys are
In which
fucking
case,
idiots.
Navi will be advancing in round 1 in our first matchup of this tournament. Next up.
Again,
we go.
Spicy.
Okay, next up will probably be less spicy because I screwed it up and it doesn't matter anyway. We have Hop from Pokemon Sword and Shield going up against Zeke from Infamous. Who is more annoying? Go.
So, like, the thing about Zeke is I'd say that he's pretty annoying for the first third of the first Infamous, and then after that I feel like he's fine. He's not my favorite character, but he's fine.
Doesn't he show up in Second Son at some point? That's the only one. I played 2 and I played Second
No,
Son. So
I think he shows up in, like, a tie-in comic to Second Son. I don't remember him showing up in
Okay.
the game proper.
Okay.
He also takes a bit of a turn at some point, doesn't he? Making him bad.
I mean, he disagrees with Cole at the end of Infamous 2, depending on the decisions you make, but his, like, although he disagrees with Cole, he's taking the better stance, basically. I'm trying to remain vague to avoid spoilers.
No, that's understandable. Because remember, we're arguing worst video game NPC. You can interpret it that any way you want. I said annoying. It could be bad, evil, whatever you guys want to make this is what it is. I don't care. So which character is worse between Hop and Zeke?
If I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna say Hop's worse. He's kind of
for sure.
Yeah, like I've played Pokemon Sword through. I'm a Pokemon master, as we've all discussed in the past. And he could have just not been in the game. That would have been great. I'd like to see a Pokemon game without a rival. Try that.
But they have to be the same game every time.
Try
They're
something.
wonderful every time.
I mean, with Sword and Shield, I think I discussed this on another podcast. I think that game would have been better if it was just about the gyms and if there had been no evil teen plot in the game at all.
There really
but that's-
wasn't at the end of the day.
And
Yeah.
that's why they shouldn't have even had it in the game. But that's besides the point. Yeah, Hop's terrible. Put him
through.
Zeke.
Okay, we're going to put this to a vote. Who thinks Hop is the worst video game or the lesser video game NPC compared to Zeke from Infamous? By show of hands. Okay, we've got Cozy,
I can't vote.
Nathan, and AJ saying Hop is worse, in which case Hop will be the character moving on to round 2 of this bracket. In our next matchup, we have Baby Mario from Yoshi's Island going up against Amy from Sonic. Fight.
Baby Mario fucking sucks. He's a bad mechanic.
So he's Baby Mario. I'm never gonna say that he sucks because he's the king of video games. Plus, have you played Sonic 2 or the Dreamcast Sonic games? Amy is no fun to play. You play as her. She's not. She's playable in that game.
Some games she is, some games she isn't. So it's an NPC sometimes, and that's what I went with.
All I'm gonna
Sonic
say
characters
is,
are just annoying. We had to have an annoying Sonic character on this list.
All I'm gonna say is I've seen more Rule 34 of Amy, and it's terrible, and that's ruined. It's ruined my innocence, and that's why she needs to be.
Here's the thing.
Disagree.
Yeah.
I have a decent bit of experience with the Sonic games, but I'm beginning to realize that I haven't actually played a lot of Sonic games featuring Amy. And like literally the only Sonic game I think I played featuring Amy was Sonic Unleashed. And in that game, like for all that game's problems, she's barely in it, and I didn't think she was that annoying. Is there like a major Sonic game where she's in it and she's like really annoying? Or
I would have had to have played more Sonic games to be able to give you an argument there.
I purposely don't play Sonic games because they're all bad.
They're not all bad.
There's not a good Sonic game. Not a single one.
Fair.
Well, yeah, whatever.
All right, let's put it to a vote then.
Hold on, can I just say something very quickly?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to vote for Baby Mario being the worst one, but I will say
too.
this. Everybody dislikes Baby Mario because his scream is so shrill and annoying, but it serves its purpose. It lets you know that he's in danger and that you have to go back and rescue him. I think that at the end of the day, it doesn't redeem him utterly, but it's like there's a purpose to his annoyingness.
I think the purpose of Baby Mario in like as a character in specifically in what was it, Yoshi's Island? Is that
Yoshi's Island? Yep.
Full time, yeah, Yoshi's Island specifically. Like the mechanic is, it's basically your health bar, in a way. You get hit and you have to go get Baby Mario back, and that's an encumbrance. That's an obnoxious, and that's the worst part of that game. The fact that if by whatever reason you press a button, Baby Mario goes floating off in a bubble, and you got to go pick him up again. And it's like, no, you just want to move forward sometimes, and you just want to take your licks and keep moving forward if you can. But you can't. You got to go catch the baby, and that's annoying.
It sounds like we're coming to more or less a conclusion here, so I'm just going to put it to a quick vote. Who thinks Baby Mario is worse than Amy, by show of hands? Oh, okay. So we've got an even split. We've got Cozy and AJ saying Baby Mario is more annoying / a worse NPC, and we've got Nathan and Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but saying Amy is the worst NPC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, okay, so
I gotta vote anything against Sonic.
Yep, me too.
Okay, and I have to break this tie.
You hate Sonic as
Yikes.
well. Do the right thing.
I hate Sonic. I don't hate Sonic. I've enjoyed what I've played of Sonic Generations, even though I never finished it, and I've enjoyed what I've played of Sonic Mania, and I've never finished it.
But is Amy in either of those games?
I don't know because I didn't finish them. I think
The
she might be
demo
in
for
Generations.
Sonic Unleashed was really good. Where they didn't do any of the werehog stuff.
The
we're
mechanic
gonna put
of Baby
Sonic-
Mario, okay, the mechanic of Baby Mario screaming at you, I'm with AJ. It is the worst part of Yoshi's Island. It's unique, but it's annoying as all hell, and for that reason, Baby Mario is going to be voted through as the worst NPC in that matchup. I'm sorry. In our next matchup, this is going to be a fun one. We've got Irish from Red Dead Redemption up against Jar Jar Binks from Lego Star Wars.
Okay. So Irish got you into Mexico. Jar Jar Binks killed the Jedi Order.
Misa thinks he's wrong.
I don't remember who Irish is. I played Red Dead a year or two after it came out, so it's been a long time. But I really don't remember who he is. So he did not stick out. Jar Jar Binks sticks out as a problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, is he a problem in Lego Star Wars?
He's Jar Jar Binks. He's always
He's a problem
gonna
in
be a problem.
everything.
But I mean, like, so hold on a second. Quick
He's
question.
actually
Why
a pretty redeemable character in the Clone Wars. You should watch it.
Why specifically Lego Star Wars, though? Because, I mean, certainly hasn't Jar Jar appeared in other Star Wars games as an NPC?
Maybe Episode 1 Starfighter?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of... The problem with... Here's the thing. If you had chosen Jar Jar Binks as an NPC in any other Star Wars game, I could have been like, yeah, okay. But the problem is that Lego Star Wars is overall so slapstick and cartoony. It's a game where a character like Jar Jar Binks actually kind of makes sense. So I can't, in good conscience, vote for him in this
Doesn't
case.
he jump really, really high in Lego Star Wars as well? That was like his that was his thing.
Yeah, and so specifically you have here Lego Star Wars the video game. That's like the first one, right? And in those first ones, weren't all the characters silent anyway? So taking the
Yes.
context of that, Jar Jar Binks' most annoying feature
Is being around.
is not necessarily present. He's not being outwardly annoying. He's just happens to be there.
But
Are you guys going to make me split this one again? It sounds like you're going to make me split this one
He
again.
reminds me of the things that I hated about the prequels.
Just
And that
visually
was
seeing
it.
him makes him worse because
Yeah, it makes
of
me
how he.
sick, and I want to take action against it.
Yeah.
Let's put it to a vote. Who's in favor of Jar Jar Binks moving forward as being the worst video game NPC?
At least Irish is useful.
Okay.
He got you into Mexico.
So we've got Alex, Nathan,
I
and
don't
AJ.
even know who Irish is. I never
Ex-
even asked
and
about
for
it.
I had
that-
to look him up again.
And for that reason, Jar Jar
very
Binks is going to move on.
The fact that we remember Jar Jar Binks, doesn't it not mean that in some way he's kind of a better character than Irish is?
A
No,
more
or
memorable
he's more
character, but he's still
Memorable
Jar Jar.
or annoying.
Whatever.
Our next matchup pits one of Nathan's favorite games of all time up against one of Alex's. We've got Tom Nook in the Animal Crossing series up against 343 Guilty Spark from Halo.
So
And go.
I first I want to start this and apologize to Cozy because remember when we did our first 5x5 and I put Tom Nook as a villain. I've turned around on Tom Nook after playing Animal Crossing.
dare
New
you.
Horizons.
All right, here we go.
You're right. Tom Nook hands out mortgages, asks for no return date on the mortgage that he's put out, and basically just continues to give you loans to buy houses with no interest. He's a good guy. I don't think he's annoying in any fashion. And in New Horizons, you pay your house off, and then he doesn't ask for any more, and he gives you free remodeling for the rest of your life.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my argument back in the day for why I didn't think Tom Nook was as villainous as people make him out to be is that it's like one of those things where it's just become a meme at this point, and people like to say, "Oh man, Tom Nook is such a villain" because it's a fun thing to say. I don't think that he's really that bad.
Where 343 is pretty annoying. He betrays you, and then he also tries to.
Spoilers.
This is literally 2001. It's the first game.
I don't
He
know
also
anything.
he tries to commit genocide against the entire life, and so he's kind of a piece of shit. He is also just really annoying because his voice is really annoying. Also, they named 343 Industries after it, and they've made 2 not great Halo games. So I think that alone is principle.
I was going to ask, is that where 343 is from?
Yeah, it's based off of that character.
Okay. I've never
So
played a Halo.
Isn't
You
Guilty
should.
Spark the final boss of Halo 3?
Yes.
Huh.
You get to he kill. You get to-
Spoilers. We're going to cut it there, and I'm going to ask for a vote. Who thinks Guilty
big-
Spark is a worse NPC than Tom Nook? We've got a vote of 3-1, the one being AJ. So
By
Guilty
worse,
Spark,
I think he's like an actual like bad guy.
villain. Yeah, that's
He's
fair.
a villain, but not that annoying. It's pretty straightforward.
I think his voice is a little obnoxious.
And now we
but,
get to
you
move
know,
on to the
that's kind of
second-
point, I feel like.
Now we get to move on to the second Animal Crossing representative on this
Which
list
is not
because
even in
Animal
the
Crossing.
one that- not
Technically,
even
he's
in the
there.
one- Is he?
He's there. Oh, he's there.
Where-
You just don't
where
see
is
him.
he?
It has something to do with your. He's there. I don't remember what his. They said something about what his new job was. I'll look it up while you guys argue. But that will be Mr. Rossetti from the Animal Crossing franchise going up against Tingle from The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask.
I have complicated thoughts on this one.
Do you?
Tingle Tingle Kulu Limpa.
So, like, the thing about Tingle is, on one hand, I understand what they were going for with the character. The whole point about Tingle is that he is basically an obsessed Zelda fan that wandered into a Zelda game. Like, him drawing maps, him dressing up like Link. He's basically meant to parody, like an obsessive fanboy or fan whatever. And, given the fact that he debuted in the year 2000 with Majora's Mask, like, I can't think of many other video games at that time that had characters that were of that nature. So I do have to give him credit in that regard. I think the problem with Tingle is that they just forced him a little bit too much into the series. I feel like if they had kept him as more of a background character, a side character who you aren't forced to go and see, people have been like, that he's weird, but Zelda has a lot of weird characters. But instead they kind of shoved him down our throats a lot, and that kind of poisoned the well. On the other hand, I don't have any love for Mr. Rossetti either.
So, Mr. Rossetti from Animal Crossing, if I remember correctly, is the guy who punishes you for time traveling in the game. Or
Also,
there's
if your save gets
Isn't it-
corrupted,
yeah.
things like that, he pops up.
Yeah, but
Is it
more
that he
for
punishes you, or is he just like he just talks to you? Like, what does he actually do?
it's something about the time traveling. But as far as I'm
He
concerned,
gets
you
mad
shouldn't be
at you
time
for
traveling.
messing with the game.
Yeah, as far if that's the case, I'm not too familiar with Animal Crossing before the
New
newest
Horizons.
one. Yeah.
You can
If
call
that's
him.
the case, if he is scolding people for ruining the game experience for themselves, then you know what? Yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
he's doing his job.
He
Well-
should stick around.
Now, hold on. Here's the thing, though. If you recall, Mr. Rossetti appears as a assist trophy in the Super Smash Bros. Series, where he
that is correct.
obscures most of the screen with his annoying, filthy dialogue.
Also,
Okay.
that annoying, filthy dialogue does make an appearance in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Mr. Rossetti is the operator behind the Rescue Services app.
I've never had to use that app.
Yeah,
I don't even
Yeah,
know what he
same.
says.
I used it once as like a just a test, but like I
Do you get Nook miles if you use it?
You
Cozy,
you consume Nook miles if
for a
you use
friend.
it.
Cozy, I'll put this out here. If we don't vote Mr. Rossetti forward, we don't have to talk about Animal Crossing for the rest of the podcast.
Let's put it to a vote. Who thinks Tingle is more annoying or the worst NPC compared to Mr. Rossetti?
Tingle is the
Oh,
type
Tingle's
of
the
kid
worst,
that should
yeah.
have been bullied in school.
Cozy tried, or Nathan tried to convince Cozy, but couldn't do it. But with that
I don't
being
have
said,
much
it's still
love for
a
either of
3-1
these, but-
vote against Cozy and Mr. Rossetti moving forward. It will be Tingle that moves ahead in our bracket. So for our next matchup, we have the Duck Hunt dog from Duck Hunt up against Roman Bellic from GTA 4.
Roman's a good guy. He invites you to his country, into like he helps you get to America. He gives you a place to stay, and he just wants to go bowling. Like, what's the problem with that? You
It's
can
annoying.
hang up on him. You can hang up on him if you don't want to do it. It's not that it forces you to do it. You can just be like, "Fuck off," no, and that's fine. Fucking the Duck Hunt dog actively makes fun of you when your broken controller doesn't hit the duck and you don't get it. It laughs at you. Fuck that dog. That dog should be put down.
So,
Whoa!
whoa, what the fuck?
That was a little much.
So, one thing that I've always been really annoyed about is that eventually, of course, they made the Duck Hunt dog a playable character in Super Smash Bros. But if you do the taunt that makes him do the laugh, it's not the same laugh noise as in Duck Hunt. And it's like, what a missed opportunity. You would all love to just whoop someone's ass in Super Smash Bros. And then be able to do the taunt that does the laugh. But it's not the same, so it's like, well, why even bother?
So, as somebody who played the Duck Hunt when it came out,
The Duck Hunt.
the Duck Hunt,
Who out of us has played the original Duck Hunt on the NES?
I have a zapper on that shelf over
I've
there.
played
I'd
it.
actually played
I,
it.
Oh yeah.
I played it at like a convention, basically.
I played it.
I'm in your boat, Cozy.
So I've played it when it came out. I bought the Wii U re-release they did of it, as well.
I cut the wire off because it stopped working.
Yeah. No, I never found Duck Hunt dog annoying in any fashion from when I played Duck Hunt. He was just like a charming little dog that was in the corner. And really, I'm a big dog fan. There's no way I can put a dog moving forward. Plus, I love GTA 4. I think my opinion's changed on over the years. I thought it was a perfect game when it came out, and that opinion has changed. Where I think it's a very empty, big open world, and I don't
It's a
think.
game of its time.
Yeah, it definitely is. Roman doesn't add to the story, and constantly he makes you almost feel bad because it's like you have a family member who you're ignoring, and he's reminding you of your family member that you're ignoring.
Everybody go call your mother. I don't have to
Yeah.
because she's in chat, but everyone else should go call their mother.
Hi, Mitch's mom. Again.
Hello.
Let's
I'm
put it to a
sorry
vote.
I'm sorry
What?
I've said so many terrible things so far.
It's okay. We had AJ screaming about arrow to the knee guy, so it's fine. Let's put it to a vote. Who thinks that the Duck Hunt dog in Duck Hunt is a worse video game NPC than Roman Bellic in GTA 4? And we've got a split, ladies and gentlemen. Alex and
Now, hold
Cozy
on.
think Duck
Hold
Hunt
on.
is worse,
I have
and
my
Nathan
phone
and AJ
ready.
voted for Roman.
I have my phone ready. I could call my mom and ask her who she thinks is worse. What do you think?
That
Would
is
she
our
know?
tiebreaker. Call your mom and ask her which of these characters is worse, and that is who is moving forward.
Is there a chance she knows either of these characters?
It
I feel
doesn't
like
matter.
Duck Hunt more than
Yeah,
Nika, or
she
than
probably
Roman
knows you.
Bellic.
That's what I'm anticipating
All
moving
I'm go-
forward, but we'll see
all
what
I'm gonna
Cozy's
say
mom
is,
says.
Remember when Nico Bellic's voice actor got ostracized by Rockstar because he wanted to get paid more, and then
He wanted to get paid a fair wage. Yeah, I remember that.
he got paid pretty well for Grand Theft Auto 4, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, remember when the Roman voice actor, he made that voice clip of him making fun of Nico? That was great.
Also,
gonna
my
say
mom
about
says no need to censor, so go mom.
Somehow my mom, who's upstairs, isn't answering her phone.
She knows.
Oh,
And with that,
so-
and the fact that I never played GTA 4, Duck Hunt Dog is moving on.
Fuck off.
what?
Yeah, I never played GTA 4.
Cousin, you want to go bowling? That's not.
And our last
I'll
Ratchet,
get my mom on the show sometime in the future. Don't worry.
we'll do a
She
mom's
better
cast.
answer this
It'll be
question.
fun. Up to the last matchup of round 1, we've got Ashley Graham of Resident Evil 4 up against Slippy Frog from Star Fox.
Slippy's
Blitz.
moving on.
it's
No,
gotta be Slippy.
Ashley Graham. She's
be
the
Ashley,
worst.
Ashley,
So-
listen. Okay, she's like, oh, you got to protect her and all that. She listens to you whenever you tell her to go hide in the dumpster. It's like that's all you need. Like you just
I
tell her
didn't-
to go.
So I don't like Resident Evil 4. We've talked about how I don't like
I
Resident
listen.
Evil 4
I'm very well aware of that
on
because
the
I
bonus
edited
episode.
that episode. Speaking of episodes, bonus episode, getting to know Nathan, now available on all podcast services. Please go listen to it.
You've
It's really
edited
good.
all the episodes.
Yes, I know,
Yes.
but this is the one I most recently did. That's why I'm
That is fair.
saying it's
Um,
most fresh in my mind.
But she's the worst part of that game. She's absolutely terrible. She doesn't listen. Like you're saying, she does what
does.
she's supposed to. She does not do what she's supposed to. She's one of the worst
100%
examples of an
does.
NPC character. Because here's the thing, Slippy, he's just off flying around. He does his own thing. You need her to cooperate with you so you can move on, and she fucking doesn't do that. Fuck her.
You need Slippy to shoot down some dudes.
No,
Instead, Slippy
you go
goes and
lone
gets
wolf.
shot down all the time.
Cozy
All
and
the
Sean?
guys
getting
get shot
attacked.
down. Peppy gets shot down. Falco gets shot down. They all get shot down.
Slippy
thoughts,
more
Cozy?
so than anybody. Slippy
Why
always
are
gets
we
himself into those slippery situations.
This is
that
frog
he can't get himself
racism.
out of.
I mean, here's the thing.
Frogism?
Slippy, for all his annoyances, is a man or a frog of science. There is that part in Super Smash Bros. Brawl where he hacks into Snake's codec and basically calls him and talks about making weapons for him. And it's like, on one hand, it's like, well, it kind of sucks that he hacked into Snake's codec. He could be a spy. But also, hey, I mean, he's trying to help out Snake. I got to respect that.
It's got to be.
Let's put it to a vote.
Is Slippy? Slippy is the another kid that should have been bullied in school.
Wow.
How do you know he wasn't?
Yikes.
How do you know he
Are you
wasn't
gonna ask to
bullied?
put him down too?
What is with you and this animal cruelty?
It's just apparently the anthropomorphic animals. I've got a vendetta
It's time.
against them.
It's time to vote. Who thinks
They
Ashley
awakened
Graham
something.
is a worse NPC than Slippy Frog?
Never.
There
I
it is.
barely know
50-50
who she
split
is.
again. We've got Cozy and
like
Nathan
I know.
saying Ashley's worse. We've got Alex and AJ saying Slippy's worse. Ashley Graham can go die in a fire. She's moving on. That is
Fuck
one
her.
of the
whole
worst
point of the
NPCs
game
I've.
is you gotta save her.
Yeah, and she's just annoying and a brat the entire time. She's the president's daughter. She
Not
thinks
Slippy,
she's better
not a
than
brat.
you.
She helps you.
She
No,
is
she
a
doesn't
brat.
help you.
She's
Yeah,
a
she
brat.
does.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she does.
She's moving on. She's moving on. We have our bracket for round 2. Once my screen loads, it's taking some time. Come on. Okay, so in round 2, we've got Navi going up against Hop, Baby Mario up against Jar Jar, Guilty Spark and Tingle, and Duck Hunt Dog going up against Ashley Graham. So how do we feel so far, guys? Is this fun?
I feel good.
I'm having
yeah,
fun.
this is good.
Yeah, this is,
I like
this
it.
is definitely a good format.
This is
Okay.
something.
Yeah, I'm really in love with. I know I already said it at the front, but I really love the name of this segment.
Bracket Blitz. It just sounds like a
Yeah.
crappy iOS app.
Can I make a recommendation for next time we do this? Can we take predictions from the community before the show?
Absolutely. That we will do that for future
Yeah.
episodes for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll get into round 2 now. For round 2, the first matchup we've got is Navi from Ocarina of Time up against Hop from Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Blitz.
I
So,
mean,
hey,
Go
listen,
ahead.
Navi's the worst character and is going to win this thing. Let's just move her
you're
on and keep going.
stupid.
So,
you're fucking wrong.
here's the thing.
You're fucking
It-
wrong. I haven't played Pokemon, this newest Pokemon, and you're fucking wrong.
I'm just
In
assuming
Pokemon, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right, thank you. Pokemon Sword and Shield, they try to have a character arc for Hop where he feels briefly sad, and I just felt nothing. I felt nothing at all. Navi, you know, for all her annoyances, there is that part at the end of Ocarina of Time, spoilers, where she leaves. And
Spoilers.
You can look at it cynically and be like, oh, I was so relieved because she left. Oh, and that makes her the better character. But there was a tinge in me that was like, it really is sad that she fulfilled her destiny and now has to move on. And I can't say that I had emotions as crystallized and as hard about Hop. So Hop's worse.
Alex?
From minute one, Navi is in your ear, blistering you and just complaining to you, and you just want her to go away. You want some peace and quiet. At least I'm assuming based on.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Are you saying? Did you say Navi or did you say Hop?
Navi. From minute
one.
Oh, really?
Navi. Well, that sounds awful lot like Hop.
Yeah, but Hop at least fucks off for a while.
Yeah, usually you have to see him a little bit. Like, you run into him every once in a while, but for the most part, you're alone. There's some major scenes that you have to deal with him. But Navi's there all the time. Hey, listen.
Navi came into your life and saved you from that excruciating loneliness.
I would have rather stayed dead.
Also, like, Navi, the tips that Navi gives you in combat are generally pretty useful. Like, you know, here's how you defeated Deku Baba. Hop, he's like, oh man, did you know that fire's really super effective against grass? Well, if you didn't know it, fire's super effective against grass. Hey, where's everyone going?
Can water put out fire?
Also, does he ever have a conversation that doesn't involve his brother?
What?
His brother's pretty cool. I liked his brother.
Yeah, but all he does is talk about his brother. I'll shut up now. This is your guys' argument to have.
I don't know. Navi, like, just sticks out to me. Hop, as somebody who's new to the franchise because I only played Blue, was tolerable. He reminded me about things that I didn't remember the game because I hadn't played it for a bazillion years, and I feel like that was the same experience for other people playing Pokemon. Is he bad? He's not great, but Navi's worse. There's no question.
When was the last time you played Ocarina of Time?
The 3DS remake?
3DS remake, so about 9 years ago at this point, 2011.
No, recent. I would have been more recently. I didn't play it when it first came out. I got it when my son got his 3DS a few years ago, and I played it. So it's in the past few years.
So, because what it sounded like you were saying was, in your advanced age, you've softened your stance on annoyances.
No. Actually, my annoyances are still at an all-time high, AJ. I can confirm that right now. Yep.
I think you might need to go back and take another look, because I don't think it's as annoying as you thought it might be.
Nope. I think it's time we put it to a vote.
I want to say one last thing.
Okay.
You know, the thing about Hop is... Hold on. I'm actually going to praise him for a second before I vote against him. The thing about Hop is that I have to acknowledge the fact that there's a generation of Pokemon players out there that are totally down with the rival who's really kind of helpful and nice and sweet. Like,
That's not a rival.
There's well, whatever you want to call them. You know, my generation of players or my group of players or my whatever players is so obsessed with the idea of your rival being a complete dick bag that you love to hate. And I mean, that's the way we've been grown up. That's what we've kind of come to believe over time. But, you know, I am really beginning to question whether or not that's something we should continue to believe, and maybe whether we've been wrong about Hop all along. But Hop still sucks.
Let's put it to a vote. Who thinks that Navi is a worse I can't talk. Who thinks Navi is a worse video game NPC than Hop? And we split the room again. Alex and Nathan voting for Hop. No, Navi, right?
Navi. Yeah.
I said Navi.
No,
yeah.
I could have sworn that was Hop.
No. Okay, so they voted that Navi is worse. Cozy and AJ both voting that Hop is the worst of the two NPCs. And I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent before I make my decision here.
Sure.
So I, like Nathan, only played Ocarina of Time when it came to the 3DS. I didn't own an N64, so that meme, as it existed, was a meme to me long before I played the game.
Just to be clear, I did play it when it came out.
Right. No, I'm talking about my experience, not yours. But
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So I didn't play it on the N64. I only played it on the 3DS. Having that built-in understanding that it was going to be an annoying character, I didn't really get that. And I'm with Cozy being an elitist Pokemon veteran that we've had N from Black and White that was such a well flushed out rival that had backstory, that had character. We've had the rival from Gold and Silver who in the remakes that came out on the DS, it was revealed he was Giovanni's son, so tying it back to Team Rocket from the original games. We've just had such characters that had development. And then you have Hop. Oh, you know how to use super effective attacks. Oh, my brother's the champion.
I'm really glad that you brought up N, because N is a great example of a rival in a Pokemon game who's not like directly antagonistic or an asshole like Gary from the first game, but he's still an interesting character.
I would argue he's one of the most interesting NPCs in gaming, not even just a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Hop is moving on in a huge upset over Navi in this tournament.
This is a mistake.
No, it's not. This is great, and I'm so happy.
This list has already been forfeited.
Yes.
It was forfeited on the first vote.
It's fine. Arrow to the knee guy would have lost to Hop too. Our next matchup, we have Baby Mario from Yoshi's Island up against Jar Jar Binks from Lego Star Wars. Fight.
Okay, as much as I hate Jar Jar Binks and everything he represents in Star Wars, I think Baby Mario should go forward because Baby Mario is a video game NPC through and through. This is kind of going back to Cozy's argument, but I mean, I just wanted Jar Jar to at least get a little bit further.
Is Baby Mario playable in Mario Kart? Because
Yes.
he's not annoying there.
Yeah, he is.
Not as annoying as in Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, but
Which
which
is the
is
gaming
where
question.
he is an NPC. Like
That's
I
true.
don't
I
know
guess
if
he's
we should-
playable in that one.
Yeah, so I would say like just the crying, like that was. I'm gonna use all the points that you guys made in the previous round for Jar Jar. The fact that he doesn't speak in the Lego Star
You
Wars
can't
game
do
also-
that. Come
I can
on.
totally do that.
God
we did
damn
not
it.
set up any rules.
That is true. We have no rules here.
This was me voting against. Well, who did he go up against? Irish.
Irish.
So now I'm voting against him for Baby Mario. I think Baby Mario is more annoying because his cries are, and also he's a video game NPC through and through. Where Jar Jar Binks is also from other things that I hate.
He's also playable in the Lego Star Wars game, so that's one thing we didn't really talk about, but whatever.
Yeah, but why would
It's
you
still
choose
Jar
to play
Jar.
on him? Why would you?
That
choose
is
to
also
play him?
true. Anyone
Wait,
have
Jar
anything
Jar
else
Binks
that...
is playable in the Lego Star Wars games?
Any
Pretty
of the-
sure.
any of the
Isn't he?
characters that are in your like party would be playable.
Then why is he an NPC?
Because I hate Jar Jar more than any other character on this list, and it had to be on the list.
Oh,
Which
so
also
he's
you
not
do
an
play as,
NPC?
which also you hey, okay, if we're playing by those rules, Ashley's playable in Resident Evil 4 for a chapter.
I still don't care. She's annoying.
Yeah.
Let's vote on this one. Who thinks Baby Mario is more annoying than Jar Jar?
No one else got to even speak about it.
I didn't feel like there was anything to be said. Our first
I-
anonymous vote. This is our first anonymous vote. Baby Mario is moving on because I felt like no one really had anything to say.
I don't have
Jar
a
Jar
horse in this
Binks-
race for this one.
Jar Jar Binks was a war hero of the Battle of Naboo. Baby Mario was a war hero of nothing.
Our next matchup pits
more dark
343 Guilty Spark from Halo up against Tingle from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Tingle?
Somebody speak other than me.
I just
Tingle.
I think 343.
I don't know.
is-
I've never played a Halo game.
I love Zelda and I love Halo, and I think
I want to say a spoiler.
what I'm arguing is I think Guilty Spark is a better character than Tingle is.
You know what? I'm on board with
Guilty Spark brings more to the story and everything, being what is it, the AI for the Halo ring in general than Tingle does, just being like like a Zelda super fan in the world.
I'm on board with that.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe that Guilty Spark survived longer in the Halo series chronologically, right? Like,
Yes.
both Tingle and Guilty Spark debuted around the same time, maybe like a year apart. But Guilty Spark lasted until 2007's Halo 3, whereas Tingle got killed off way sooner.
I think Alex has been bottled up. He's trying to say something he doesn't want to say. We're going to say this now. Spoilers ahead for what is probably Halo's 1
I'm
through
on
3.
AJ's side now. I'm on AJ's side now.
I still want you to make your
think-
point. So let's say
Okay, fine.
spoilers
I was
here.
Okay.
Skip forward 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, when he kills Johnson, I think that was like that made him a really good villain. I think that was like a holy shit, I hate this fucking thing. I need to blow it the hell up.
In a good
In
way,
like a
'cause
good
you're
like
playing the protagonist.
Yeah,
in the
like a
game.
good antagonistic way. Yeah.
But I mean, Johnson, that was like a really beloved character in the series, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that kind of a shitty way for him to go out to get randomly killed by this shitty light bulb man?
But it wasn't
This is
random,
more than 30
though.
seconds,
There was
just
a
FYI.
story. There was a story reason for it, though.
Yeah, it wasn't just some.
It was part of his character that like that 343 would be like, I want to defend this ring, to like no matter what, I will blow up this. I will kill this.
All right, Halo fanboys, let's wrap this up and let's put it to a vote. Who thinks Guilty Spark is a worse NPC than Tingle? We have Cozy, and that's it. So from a vote, at a vote of 3-1, Tingle will be moving forward in our bracket challenge. And our last matchup in round 2, the Duck Hunt Dog from Duck Hunt up against Ashley Graham from Resident Evil 4.
You already know
Ashley?
my feelings about the Duck Hunt Dog.
It's got to be Ashley.
You got to argue them against each other. Why is one worse than the other? Come on.
I mean, the thing about the Duck Hunt Dog, though, is that the Duck Hunt Dog doesn't have any arc. He doesn't have any lines of dialogue. You don't get to understand his motivations, his reasons for doing anything. He's just an annoying little gremlin in a dog costume that laughs at you.
For the
Yeah,
record,
I'm pretty
Ashley
sure it's
doesn't
not
have much
actually
of an
a dog.
arc and is kind of annoying. Doesn't explain why she's annoying either.
She's just there.
But she gets more
She's
of a
just
character
there
than the dog.
getting in your way and being terrible at everything she needs to do.
At least Ashley's on your side. The dog is actively trying to.
He
when
does
you're-
pick up your ducks when you shoot them. He
Yeah,
does
but
get
that's
your
if-
ducks.
Yeah, but you know that's if you.
Wait,
if
but
you
hold
shoot
on.
Them.
How do
He's
we
not
know that he's not?
encouraging you.
How do we know that he's not stealing the ducks?
Wait, are you guys upset because you're really bad at Duck Hunt?
I'm,
Is that the problem?
I'm
Or
amazing at Duck
either,
Hunt.
either that or they're really good at Resident Evil 4.
Oh, Resident Evil is so good. Resident
You
Evil
should
4.
play it with the chainsaw controller.
Dude, if I had.
You're a
one,
monster and I hate you.
Resident Evil 4 is.
I wish I bought
fantastic.
that chainsaw controller just to have it.
Just to have it. That would
Just to
nice.
have it.
All
yeah.
I'm gonna say is Resident Evil 4 is a perfect game in every way, shape, and form. And
Oh, it's
Ashley is
not.
a part of that because of the campiness of her character. The fact that she's the president's daughter and you've got to go save her. I just think that game is so. Just everything it does, it nails in its campiness and awesome, great. And Duck Hunt Dog just makes fun of you. And
So I think the argument of Resident Evil 4 will be a fun one to have when Nathan inevitably, tries to kill Alex when they do their their episode of Second Helpings. But for now, we have to put this to a vote. So who amongst us thinks that the Duck Hunt Dog from Duck Hunt is a worse video game NPC than Ashley Graham from Resident Evil 4?
Oh, thank God.
wrong. Oh,
Duck Hunt Dog.
Duck Hunt is
Thank
worse,
God.
Cozy?
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so we've got a
I mean, I know
50-50
she's
split again.
gonna- I know Ashley's gonna go forward because
Alex and Cozy are saying that it's the Duck Hunt Dog. Nathan and AJ both saying Ashley Graham. That dog's just that smirk. It
You
puts me
can't
off.
let
I don't like
Ashley
it.
has to go. Ashley has to continue to
No,
go.
I'm
She's the
saying
worst.
Duck Hunt just because there's no story. Like again, the argument was sound. There's no story to it. At least Ashley Graham is part of the plot of the game. The Duck Hunt Dog is just there to taunt you, and that's not cool. It serves no purpose. It's just there, and for that reason, the Duck Hunt Dog is moving on.
yeah, for you having to save her is the whole basis of why Resident Evil 4 is a game, why the story is in motion, and I can forgive any faults that she might have because then I got to play a really cool game out of it. Because of
And with that, we have our final four. We have Hop from Pokemon Sword and Shield, Baby Mario from Yoshi's Island, Tingle from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and the Duck Hunt Dog from Duck Hunt. We will start with Hop up against Baby Mario in round 3. Argue.
Baby Mario. Just the mechanic of Baby Mario alone, like I said earlier, it's put there to be more annoying than losing health. It was an experiment to be like, hey, can we make taking damage more interactive? And it doesn't work. It doesn't make the game better. It does not help the game. Where somebody like Hop is just an NPC who's there. Yeah, he's dumb. He's an idiot. But like, he doesn't really get in your way. It's so annoying how Baby Mario can just bring down the momentum of the entire game.
When I went into this, I thought I was going to be voting Hop, 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 he's the worst all the way, but I'm honestly agreeing with, I think Baby Mario is worse. I think that, here's the thing, it's been a little while since I played through Yoshi's Island last, but actually, hold on, I actually played it.
You were
a couple
just playing
weeks
it
ago.
recently on stream.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I didn't get very far though. And yeah, the thing about that game is that there are so many like alternative routes. The levels are so labyrinthian, but you always feel restricted in terms of how much you can explore because you're constantly needing to babysit Baby Mario, and it's really frustrating in that regard. I know that not everyone has that same experience when they play that game, but that's the experience I had.
Nathan, Alex, anything to add?
I mean, from what you guys were saying about Hop, all he's trying to do is try to be helpful and telling you what's super effective. You might already know it, but you know what? He's the guy he's like the little kid who you're just like, that's nice. Now I'm gonna keep going, and he follows you. But you know, that's whatever.
Thoughts, Nathan, or should we put it to a vote?
Put it to a vote.
All right, let's do it. Who thinks that Baby Mario is a worse NPC than Hop from Sword and Shield? We've got our second unanimous vote with everyone thinking that Baby Mario is worse than Hop. And on to our second semifinal matchup. We've got Tingle from Majora's Mask up against the Duck Hunt Dog from Duck Hunt. Let's go. Don't everyone argue at once.
The dog.
Tingle.
Why is it the dog?
Because
Why
the
is it
dog
Tingle?
sucks. The dog.
Tingle
You
sucks.
have a dog.
I have
So-
multiple dogs and I love them, and they don't make fun of me. They don't laugh at me when I fail. They encourage
You don't know
me.
that.
For the
their
record,
language.
you don't know what your dogs are saying about you at all. They are making fun of you constantly. Look at what that stupid human's
They're thinking
doing.
of you when they're licking their butt. That's what they're doing.
So
Or
And
licking
other
each other's
areas.
butts.
I feel like we've largely talked about Tingle as he's appeared in Majora's Mask and a little bit in Wind Waker. He also appeared in Minish Cap, and he actually had a totally fine role in that game. He was the person who was like in charge of the whole Kinstone collecting side quest thing, and he got you some pretty cool upgrades and items if you went through with it.
Fun fact about Minish Cap, it is the third Zelda game not developed by Nintendo. That was developed by
Right.
Capcom, as were the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons games.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, discounting like the CDI games, of course.
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about those. At least Minish Cap was playable.
Yeah.
I love the CDI games just because of how bad.
Let's
they are.
not we're not gonna delve into that discussion today. What we are gonna do is put to a vote Tingle versus Duck Hunt Dog. Who thinks that the Duck Hunt Dog is a worse NPC than Tingle? Alex is out a hand up. You should probably put down the virtual gun.
Is it for
Okay.
Duck Hunt Dog?
Duck Hunt Dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Duck Hunt Dog is moving on to the finals. At a vote of 3-1, Cozy, I'm sorry. And with that, we can move on to our third place matchup, which is Hop up against Tingle. So, who do we think is the best of these runners up? Or the worst of these runners up? Best, worst, it's all superlative at this point.
See, they're both there to help you, but which one is more annoying at it?
Tingle has you spend a lot of money in Wind Waker to find all those maps.
That's true. That's
I
pretty
like-
annoying. Yeah, he just sits there on that island. He's got all those Triforce maps. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I kind of like finding the Triforce maps. Maybe I'm alone.
I used a guide for that, but no, not worth it.
I remember sailing the open seas and enjoying it and that's before they had that super fast sail. I never found that annoying. It was years later when I found out that people thought it was annoying.
I was 13. I was not patient enough for it.
You aren't patient enough for it now.
Well, they fixed it on the Wii U version, from what I understand.
But then you would have had to have played it on the Wii U.
I played it on the Wii U. I didn't get that far.
Oh, the speed sail. It did make things
Yeah.
much faster.
Yep, I bet.
Alex, or Cozy, thoughts?
I mean,
These are two
Hop.
games I haven't played, so I don't have that.
Okay,
much.
so we don't care about what Alex says. This is a vote of 3. Alex doesn't get a vote.
so like
okay.
Hop annoys you throughout the entire experience. Tingle doesn't really annoy you for all that much in Wind Waker until the very end, but when he does,
When
he's
he-
kind of a big bottleneck.
Yeah, it was done. It seems like it was done specifically to pad out the end of the game and just add more time and add more grind to it, and in a way that doesn't feel additive to the entire experience.
Let's put it to a vote. Except Alex, because he hasn't played these games. Who thinks that Tingle is a more annoying character than Hop? Show of hands. We've only got one vote. AJ says Hop is more annoying, but in a shocking upset, Hop is the more annoying of the two characters and takes our third place spot. And with that, we can move on to our finals. Baby Mario from Yoshi's Island against the Duck Hunt Dog from Duck Hunt. Which is worse? Only time will tell. Someone's got to give, and we're going to find out right now.
Listen, everybody's only
I
brought
thought
up.
we were about to go to a commercial break.
Everybody's only.
If we
brought
had
up-
commercials, that's where it would be.
Everybody's only brought up how the duck hunt dog laughs at you sometimes. And that's if you mess up. Yeah, it doesn't feel very good. But you know what? When you do get a duck, what does he do? He grabs it for you. He picks it up and adds it to the counter. He's very helpful in that regard. What does Baby Mario do? He falls off Yoshi, flies around in a bubble, and you gotta go retrieve him. No thank you.
So, Baby Mario does have many other appearances throughout the Mario series. Many of them are not NPC roles, so I mean, this doesn't really count towards this argument. But you know,
It
he's
doesn't
appeared as
matter. Nothing matters at this point. Make your point.
He's appeared as a playable character in the Mario Kart games. He's a playable character along with Baby Luigi in Partners in Time, the role-playing game, and
Great game.
They're both a lot of fun there. Great game. I mean, Duck Hunt Dog has not had much of a legacy beyond his original game and his appearances in Super Smash Bros. Over the past few years.
Nathan?
I don't think either of them are annoying. I will say, to counter AJ's argument, you only hear Baby Mario whine when you make a mistake, same as Duck Hunt. If you don't make a mistake, you're not going to hear Baby Mario whine.
Remember, we're not arguing annoying. We're arguing which is worse.
So
That can be however you want to judge it. Which of these characters is worse?
When you don't make a mistake, what does Baby Mario add to the game?
A purpose. You have to protect it.
You have to
And deliver it.
Stayed home with the baby.
You know, this whole thing would have been better
Crazy.
off if Yoshi just ate him.
I agree.
Yoshi should have just eaten him.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't be, Mario wouldn't be using him in the future and throw him off cliffs to try and get that extra jump so he can get over the
Yeah.
gap.
Mario
Yoshi could
grows
have
up
ended
and
this.
he does that. He punches him in the back of the head in Super Mario World.
Yeah.
That's what gets him to giddy up. That's rude.
I think we figured out how to fix Yoshi's life, and Yoshi has to eat Baby Mario.
So we're doing this Terminator style where Yoshi has to go back and correct the mistakes it's made in the past
Yes.
by murdering an infant.
Yes.
That's what we're arguing.
Yeah.
It's
Would you
infanticide.
go back in time and murder Baby Mario
This
Jesus.
to prevent World War Bowser?
is the best thing we've ever done in this podcast.
Is talking about
Talking
murdering
to the show
Baby
next
Mario?
week, would we go back in time and kill Baby Mario?
Alex, do you have anything to add to this?
Oh, go ahead.
Any of the Alexes?
No.
We have multiple.
No, I don't have anything else to add.
Babies are worse than dogs.
You've been arguing against dogs all night.
Yeah, dog.
I've been
Now you
arguing
change your
against this
tune?
dog specifically, but all babies are worse than all dogs. So
Don't be
That
a fool,
is
cover
fair.
your tool.
that's just my amazing hot take.
Yeah.
Cozy,
I feel like I'm gonna vote for Baby Mario.
anything cozy, or do we put no to a vote?
No, I know where I stand.
Dogs are cute. Babies are disease-riddled snot monsters.
Everyone's made a decision, right? Okay,
Babies
we're
are
going to do
only
this
good
one a
for
little
humans to
differently. We're
talk
going to go around, and everyone is going to give their vote. We're not going to do it by show of hands. Alex,
All right.
who is worse,
Baby
Baby Mario
Mario.
or Duck Hunt?
Baby Mario.
Cozy,
Duck Hunt Dog.
we got a vote of 1-1. Nathan,
Duck Hunt Dog. I don't feel good about
AJ,
that.
where is it? Where's the vote?
Baby Mario's worse.
God damn it!
Ooh.
You guys are really going to make me do this on our
Do you want
winner?
me to try and call my mom one more time?
No, I will step in on this one. I'm sorry, Cozy's mom, but this one's going to be mine.
He's trying.
Babies are worse than dogs. Alex is right. Babies are worse than
Yes.
dogs. Baby Mario from Yoshi's
Come
Island
on.
is
Come on,
the
Mom.
Press YYZ decision.
Mom,
It is
we need
the
you
winner
right now.
of our
Come on, Mom.
Bracket Blitz for worst video game NPC. Just to summarize, in third place we have Hop from Sword and Shield, our runner-up being Duck Hunt Dog, and the worst video game NPC is Baby Mario. Yay!
I'm the worst video game NPC of this episode of Press YYZ was my mom, who decided not to pick up her phone.
That is
holy
also
shit!
Okay, that being
Look
said,
at the
that is
rank.
Oh, right. We still have to do that. We have to look at whose predictions came out on top to determine the winner amongst us.
Oh my god!
As to so given that he only picked 6 of the 15 matchups correctly, but still scored 17 points because he picked the final winner. Winner of this game of Bracket Blitz is AJ. AJ, we found your game, buddy.
Hell yeah!
This really turned around. He was not doing
I was
well
in
most
last
of it.
place pretty well, but the entire way. I was refreshing and keeping track of that thing. I was like, fuck. Like, that's why I was so passionate at the beginning, because I knew what I had to do.
I was going to say,
forgot
you
about that whole
were the only one that picked Baby Mario to take it all, and that's what won it for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
I think I was in third place in the last round, and then boom.
If anyone has any feedback about this format, ways we can improve it, if you want to participate in our predictions for the next time we run this game, feel free to reach out via any of our channels, and we'll be sure to get back to you. But that was fun. I had a good time with that. I hope you guys
hold on
did
a second.
It's a good format.
I was talking with my mom for a brief minute there earlier. Did you mention who are like in second and third place?
In second place is me.
Oh.
Because I did a test bracket just to see how this works, and apparently my randomly picking names worked out better than any of your predictions. And in third place, we have Cozy.
All right.
It's funny.
Cool.
Alex and I were near the top most of it, and then we really fell down in the last round or two.
Yeah, no points in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, we can wrap up this game of Bracket Blitz.
Can we talk more about Yoshi eating Baby Mario? And saving
Not on
his
this
life?
show, because we're going to wrap
next week,
this.
topic of the show.
We're going to wrap this up, and next week we're not going to talk about Baby Mario. Alex
Watch me.
wants to talk about Halo, so we're going to spend next week talking all about his favorite franchise of all time in another rendition of Video Game Rehab for the Halo series.
All right.
I'm sorry if you just can't stand my voice, because there's going to be a lot of it next week. But if you love me like how I love myself, then it's going to be a good episode.
And if people did love you and wanted to follow you, where would they do so, Alex?
Follow me on Twitter at blatantly_Alex, where you can see all of my 4 a.m. tweets. And on Instagram at blatantlyAlex, and youtube.com/blatantlyAlex. I'm working on some new stuff. And I stream occasionally on twitch.tv/Press YYZ. You all know that, because you're watching it right now, more than likely. And mostly just follow me on Twitter if you want to see when I'm going to be streaming.
All right, Cozy, where can people keep up with you?
You can catch me on Twitter at Alex Kazina, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/CozyBearLive. Right after this stream ends, I'm going to be playing through the final chapter of Final Fantasy VII Remake for the first time. I don't expect to believe it tonight, because I'm going to keep my stream a bit shorter tonight, but I will be continuing it also on Thursday at 9 p.m., so be sure to tune in right after this and then.
Yeah, and I think once you do wrap up Final Fantasy VII, we'll have a spoiler cast incoming from those of us who have played the game. Nathan?
Yeah, so pay attention to our Twitter account to see when we're going to be recording that.
And what's going on with the Cozina for Kind of Funny Direct?
That as well.
Is going to be... Yeah, so the idea is that tomorrow night, I'm going to be debuting the Casino for Kind of Funny Direct at 9 p.m., twitch.tv/CozyBearLive. Then after that, I'm going to be playing more Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, and if you don't catch it live because you're listening to this after the episode comes out, catch up on Cozy's Twitter, YouTube, everything, and it'll be everywhere. Nathan, where can the internet keep up with you?
Follow me at _NMac on Twitter. I do reviews for PS4 blog.net. I don't have anything to talk about this week that has launched, but as I mentioned earlier, Super Mega Baseball 3 will go live next week as I give my review on it. Early impressions are very positive, so that's good. Also, we should talk more about Yoshi killing Baby Mario. Just saying.
Not right now. AJ, go.
I got a couple things real quick as well, but you can find me all over the internet at Times Hero, capital T, capital H. I just want to say shout out to my friend Jonathan in the chat there, John Gargs. He's a friend from work. He tuned in for the first time tonight. And also shout out to my friend Taylor, who finally, after years of trying to get this final achievement in the original Geometry Wars, finally broke 1 million points, and he did it. He's been, since the game came out, he's been struggling so hard to just get the 1 million points for that last achievement, and he finally did it today. So I just want to give him a big shout out. So,
well, shout outs where they're due.
Congratulations.
And you can catch me all over the internet at Mr. Mitch George. And actually, after this episode comes out, so next week you can catch my episode of the podcast Best Friends Talk Funny, which I will promote all over the place because that was a great time.
Hell yeah.
Had a good time chatting with Kyle, who hosts that.
How does one get on this podcast?
Kyle will get in touch with you. Trust me. We talked about it.
Okay.
And with that being said, thanks for playing.
Victory is mine.
Bye, everybody. Maybe one day I'll win a game.